prime time. This is victory. We are the chosen ones. We're making history. We'll show you what we got. Give everything we have. Every sweat, blood, and tear. Every last breath. We put up a fight until the last man, until the last day, until our last dance. We are here giving everything and more. To seize the opportunity, you know that we will score. This is victory.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you may be in the world. And welcome to the beautiful roller coaster called the Sachsenring. My name is Dan Pepels, and oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, he is back. I thought that day would never come. Next to me in the commentary booth is Sebastian Borghardt. Sebastian, what a track to come back to. Did miss you though at the Nürburgring, but we've got qualifying up for grabs on a weekend that will decide the championship.
Yeah, happy to be back. You did great without me, but I'm humbled and ready to get into this final weekend. We have an interesting day and weekend ahead of us.
Of course, it's the championship finale. Last round of the championship here at the Sachsenring. And if you don't know it yet, you will know it now. Lucas Stiefelhagen is leading the championship by 94 points over Maxim Dacha in second place. Many say it can't go wrong, but I've seen miracles happen in racing before. And, well, if it's mathematically possible, they will do everything they can to make that happen. Philip Dietrich in third place is 101 points behind Lucas Stiefelhagen. That means he's 7 points behind Maxim Dacha. Very, very close for second place in the championship. Alex Gustafsson in fourth, 126 points behind Lucas Stiefelhagen. Is also still in with a shot at second in the championship. Still a very, very, very realistic goal for Alex Gustafsson. And for sure, third place is what he is aiming for in the championship as well. We have qualifying up for grabs now, or pole position up for grabs now here in this qualifying session. Pole position will give you 4 points, and with a total of 132 points up for grabs here this weekend. That means that the championship cannot be won in qualifying. 4 points up for grabs for pole position. That means the gap can only go up to 98 points, and with 128 points left still to grab after this qualifying session. That means that the championship, like I said, cannot be won in this session by Lucas Stiefelhagen. He can, make a big step towards that if he does take pole position. Please do remember that this man is unbeaten in 7 competitive sessions in a row now. He won the first race at the Nürburgring, won the second and the third race at the Nürburgring as well. Then, of course, we had a little break. We went to the Nürburgring, qualifying unbeaten. Was unbeaten in every session at the Nürburgring. Nobody was faster than him in any of the practice sessions, not in qualifying, and neither were they in all 3 of the races. That means that he's unbeaten in 7 competitive sessions in a row. He's looking to make that 8 today. But what a track this is, Sebastian. Sachsenring, a track that, of course, we visited last year as well. We had some awesome racing. Slipstream also definitely a thing here. But just in general, a roller coaster of a track. You go into turn 1, you use the curbstone on the left-hand side as your braking marker. But then after turn 1, you drop all the way downhill into turn 4. And then after turn 4, a very, very, very long right-hander. Off camber as well, tricky to turn the car in. You go back uphill into turn 6 and into turn 7. And then you drop back downhill into turn 8 and 9. Is then uphill again until you drop back down after turn 12. Into turn 13, and then, well, turn 14, you guessed it, is uphill again onto the start-finish straight. A proper roller coaster, this track. This is turn 1. We're looking with Pit Venanzi. But yeah, a proper roller coaster, this track, and I think one of the best tracks Germany has to offer.
Yeah, as you said, at the Nürburgring, Lucas Stiefelhagen was unbeaten, but he hasn't been fastest in any of the practice sessions this weekend. Patricia, who currently tops this qualifying session, she was fastest in the first one, and Alex Gustafsson topped the second one, which was interrupted after Vivian Earl had a pretty big crash at turn 11 down the hill. They have worked almost all night to fix the car, and yeah, good to see, I think, all cars out on track at the moment.
Yeah, of course, we did have a delay before this session, Sebastian, so that does mean if there is any red flag, I don't think there is any leeway in terms of stopping the clock and or adding 5 or something minutes to this session. So that adds even more pressure to this qualifying session. And as you said, Patricia Stalizzane at the moment on the provisional pole positions. Lap times still to drop though.
And Alex Gustafsson now goes fastest.
Yes, indeed. I mean, Alex, what a weekend it was for him at the Nürburgring. For all the drivers, I mean, I think every driver and every parent and everyone who has been part of the NXT Gen Cup was very, very happy to see Alex Gustafsson on the podium. I mean, he took his first podium in the NXT Gen Cup and on road racing, except from the Aquila Formula 1000 Championship that he did in Sweden last year as a bit of a break from the NXT Gen Cup. He took his first podium in the NXT Gen Cup on race 2, and then he even managed to top that with his second place on the Sunday in race number 3 that weekend. So just in general, I think an awesome weekend for Alex Gustafsson, and he's looking to go one better this weekend. I talked to him on a track walk on the Thursday evening. They arrived pretty late, I think. Still did a track walk. I mean, they're aiming for a win this weekend. They want to go one better. They want to take that biggest trophy home after this weekend.
He told me this morning, I'm pretty sick of hearing the Dutch national anthem now.
Yeah.
He didn't want to hear the Swedish national anthem. He did want some Swedish dansband instead. But let's see what we can put up if he wins a race. Maxim Dacher, quickest so far in qualifying. Also Patricia Stalizzane put a quicker time than Alex Gustafsson.
Maxim Dacher, 6 years ago, he drove this track, or not this track, he drove the start-finish in a kart. He was dreaming at that time of driving this track, this roller coaster of a track, the big track, one day. And this weekend, that dream has come true. And so far, that dream might just become one better because he's improved his lap time. Again, Maxim Dacher, 141.992, 142.0 for Patricia Stalizzane. I'm expecting lap times to be in the high 41s here at the end of this practice session. Those were the theoretical best times without push to pass in the practice sessions yesterday. So a little bit of a run through the order then in this qualifying session. Maxim Dacher is on the provisional pole position ahead of Patricia Stalizzane, who was quick at this track last year too, took her first podium in the NXT Gen Cup on this track. And is that a car with trouble? It is.
Yeah, that is Lennart Wolf. Yes.
It looks like he's gone off somewhere,
yeah.
But he has managed to keep it going. That means no red flag. Is trying to get all the gravel out of the car as best as he can. Is probably going to go into the pits and let the mechanics in pit lane check that real quick. But back to the run through the order. Third place has now changed. Siri Högfeldt has gone up to P3, 142.306. That would be an absolute best qualifying position for her. Alex Gustafsson in fourth, has got a purple sector though. Lucas Stiefenhagen is also improving, is not down on the pole position time for Maxim Dacher at the moment. And he has to let Alex Gustafsson go as well. Alex Gustafsson with 2 purple sectors here. He might well go to the absolute best time. Did have a white moment though coming out of turn 13. Turn 14 now up the hill. You can lose loads of time here. Loads of momentum. Wasn't the best last corner of the track for Alex Gustafsson across the line. Doesn't improve his final sector. Loses 0.5 of a second in that sector.
But still quickest.
Still quickest, but loads of time lost in that last sector. Drivers will look to improve on that, but it would have been a mighty lap from Alex Gustafsson, once again showing that the speed is there for him this weekend. Keeping it nice and tight. This is turn 1, nice and tight all the way over the curb zone as long as possible, because you want to open up turn 2 afterwards, so you get a good setup for turn 3 and 4. It's a track of compromising. I think that's something that we can for sure say. You compromise turn 1 to get a better setup for turn 2. Is another wide moment there coming out of turn 13. I think we'll see plenty of that this weekend, and we have seen plenty of it already. Who was it? Oh, it's Pit Venanzi. Close moment. Was it a contact? Oh, just about managed to avoid it. It wasn't Pit Venanzi. It was Philippe Bartos who was facing the wrong way. And then I think trying to react to that was Maxime Dacher, currently second in this session. Yeah, he was trying to react to that moment. Saw that very, very late. Of course, a blind exit of turn 13. And then Benedetto also trying to avoid that. A cloud of smoke in front of him. Couldn't see if a car was in there. Philippe Dietrich was also quick in the practice sessions yesterday. Here he comes in the Mechanim car. Purple in the first sector. There was loads of time to find there in this second sector. He doesn't need an overall best time. Of course, our pole sitter lost 0.5 of a second there. He'll get a nice slipstream going out onto the start-finish straight. Philippe Dietrich across the line. Half this session done. Where can he go to? Lucas Stiefvagen improves the pole. But Philippe Dietrich only able to go into third. Still though, third place will give him 1 point coming out of this qualifying session, but Lucas Stiefvagen somehow has managed to find his way to the top again.
Yeah, he had a nice slipstream, I think almost all a lap behind Alex Gustafsson, and it seems like Stiefvagen, Gustafsson and Dietrich are giving each other a tow.
Yeah, they're working. This is something that I think we've missed compared to last year in the NXT Gen Cup. A lot of drivers were working together. There were groups of 2 or 3. All of the practice sessions actually after Oschersleben and even at Oschersleben itself, they were chaotic, all the qualifying sessions. We would go out and it would look like a race session because of all the cars trying to find their place on the track. Linda Frey, contact with the barrier, but I think she will be fine.
Just a small little kiss on the cheek.
It wasn't too hard of a hit. That's coming out of turn 10.
But that might be... Yeah, that will definitely be some flat spots on those tires. And just a small little kiss.
Yeah, just a nudge, giving the barrier a hello, I'm here. But that's not what you want to do coming out of turn 10.
Oh.
But the car seems fine, no damage to report there. This is that group. Alex Gustafsson now at the front of it. He will try to slot back in. That is the pointing car of Lennart Wolf also coming up behind them, the 22.
No one is improving on their time so far.
No, but I don't know how far they are down on their times. Alex Gustafsson will go for another lap now. A bit of a wide setup coming out of turn 14. Here we go, Lucas Stiefvagen across the line, Philippe Dietrich. Just about does not improve his lap time. Does improve his final sector. With that final sector, he would have gone pole. He would have had pole with that final sector on his last lap, but it wasn't to be. Lucas Stiefvagen is now dropping back in this group. He now knows, looking at the TV screens around the track, that he has provisional pole position, does not want to give any extra slipstream. Philippe Dietrich thinks the same about that. Philippe Bartos, he yesterday actually had the pace for the top 8, but just couldn't put it together. He had a lot of quick sectors on separate laps, but he couldn't put that lap together. Loads of gravel on the exit of turn 12. We'll call this turn 13 from now on. I was actually keeping the corner numbers from the engineer's map that I got yesterday, but our track map on our left-hand side also very kindly has the corner numbers on it. We'll keep that in mind now. Turn 13 coming out of it, and he does improve up into the top 8 this time round. A 142.4. Of course, Philippe Bartos finally back. He missed the Nürburgring. Sadly, couldn't be there, and that means that, well, Siri Höckfeldt is now the only driver to compete in all sessions of the NXT Gen Cup. Philippe Bartos lost that status at the Nürburgring because he
and the Norrisring, actually.
And the Norrisring, yes, indeed. Yeah, Philippe Bartos, good to have him back with us. And is kicking off with a 7th place in qualifying at the moment. Also, Siri Höckfeldt, P6. Those two drivers having an absolute tear of a qualifying. This is Vivian Earl at that moment yesterday. Car repaired by the mechanics.
Also, no one is really improving the lap times at the moment. Some green sectors, but not much more.
There's that gravel, I think, that came out.
Yeah. And it's good to see the mechanics
Yeah,
doing
obviously.
a bit of work.
Yeah, I mean, they did loads of work yesterday, Sebastian, on that car of Vivianel to get that car ready for qualifying today. You say that nobody's really improving, but if we look a little further down the order, Bente Boer, also guest driver for this weekend, she is improving. At the moment, she is in 14th. Theo Vida, Vera Jurland, Andreas Kapfinger just improved this time, but not his position. And there is Bente Boer, was improving her time, is not anymore, is trying to stay out of
She must have
everyone's
been
way.
really wide.
Yeah. Oh, big moment, big snap. Managing to keep it pointing in the right direction, managing to keep momentum and not get... Is that a touch to the barrier? It is. Oh, she's gone deep into that gravel trap as well, putting on the brakes. I think that was the wrong thing to do, Bente. But touches the wall, and that looks like it has damaged that right front. Yes, it for sure has. Right front damaged, and she will go into pit lane, and I think that's the end of this session. Alex Gustafsson, purple first sector. I don't know if we can pick him up anywhere. No, the middle sector has gone away from him. Middle sector,
he's
5 tenths away. So he's slowing down again, but there is still time to find here.
Patricia is on a really good lap.
Yellow flag coming out of the last corner. Philip Dietrich will be compromised by that. No, yellow flag's already removed. Patricia Stalizzana, what can she do? Coming out of the final corner in the E-Car Expo car. Does she go to pole? Yes, she does! By 8/10 of a second. 140.838. I told you there was more time in there, and she's just proven that. 140.8, a massive 7/10 margin. It's something that she did in the first practice session yesterday. I didn't think that feat could be repeated, but Patricia Stalizzana has just proven me wrong. 2 purple sectors. There was loads of time in the last sector from Alex Gustafsson. Lucas Stiefhagen didn't improve on that much either, but Patricia Stalizzana might well be the one to break that streak that Lucas Stiefhagen has tried to keep up for so long.
We saw earlier in the session, Patricia was in the pits talking with her engineer, Jose. And yeah, I think she might have done some setup changes, and apparently she found a lot of time.
Yeah, 8/10 of a second. This is another moment for Linda Frey.
In the first sector again.
There is even more time to find now. The first sector was where she lost the time on that lap. All the rest was an absolute best sector. But once again, she's gone purple in the first sector by about 0.5 of a second. And we pick her up with a massive slipstream from Lucas Stiefhagen. She might actually be too close at this point, but Lucas Stiefhagen can't improve on it either. Using the curbstone to get or to open up the corner as much as you can. Patricia Stalizzana pushing Lucas Stiefhagen through the corner. She's quick this weekend. And remember, like I said, this is the track where she got her first ever podium in the NXT Gen Cup as well. So she likes this track, and the track apparently seems to like her today. 140.8 is a massive margin, and I have a feeling nobody will be able to beat that. That's a monster lap from Patricia Stalizzana, side by side with Lucas Stiefhagen going in to the first corner. Lucas is smart though, slots back in behind Patricia Stalizzana. She will go on her own, little wide at the apex in turn 1. That will not be ideal. But this could well be the first pole position for Patricia Stalizzana. She hasn't had one in the NXT Gen Cup. She's been close, she's been second, she's been third. But today could well be her maiden pole position. 2 minutes left in this session. She's slowed down. She's slowed down. She's gonna...
I think maybe some of the drivers has a bit of low energy. This late in the session, they have gone flat out for almost 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think Patricia might actually be one of the only drivers to have some energy left to go for a lap here at the end of this session, because of course she went into pit lane, was stationary for quite a bit. So she might be one of the only drivers who can go again. This is one of the best corners on the track, turn 8 that you saw there.
And also
newcomer,
Phil Marché, P5 at the moment. He had a good practice session yesterday, was P2 in FP1, and now he's P5 in his maiden qualifying.
But this is unheard of, Sebastian. He is P5 and he's a second off the pace. He's a second off pole, but he's only 3/10 off P2. That tells you the gravity of that lap that Patricia Stalizzana, the benchmark that she's put down. Philip Dietrich is the driver in second place. Can he improve on that time is the question. Can he find 7/10s? It doesn't look like it at the moment. He doesn't find any time. Lucas Stiefenhagen will go for the lap. Patricia Stalezane will benefit from that toe. These will be the final laps of this session for these drivers. Philip Dietrich will go again. No, he won't. He's slowing down. Lucas Stiefenhagen will go again. Patricia Stalezane will go again.
And if we look at the championship fight, Maxim Dacher in P6, Lucas Stiefenhagen P3, Philip Dietrich ahead of Lucas Stiefenhagen at the moment.
Yeah, and that's massive also for P2 in the championship. Realistically, if we look at the points, that should be the best that Philip Dietrich and Maxim Dacher can fight for. Maxim Dacher, remember, he was on the provisional pole position early on in this session. Let's look when they come through the first sector. What are the sector times saying? We're looking at a 52 low for Lucas Stiefenhagen. It's a 51.9, 51.4 for Patricia Stalezane. She's once again improving on her own lap time, but it's not an absolute best, and that's way too wide for Patricia Stalezane, trying to find the time in the first sector. She couldn't. She went over the edge of the grip, and that is qualifying done for her.
Yeah, but as it looks, Lucas Stiefenhagen is not improving. So, yeah, Patricia Stalezane, her first pole position and the first female pole position in the NXT Gen Cup.
It's not quite over yet, or Lucas Stiefenhagen is on a lap. Time has dropped away from him, though. No, it is over.
It's over a second down.
Yeah, no, middle sector has gone away from him. And that means that Patricia Stalezane has taken her first ever pole position in the NXT Gen Cup. And that also marks her down in the record books as the first female on pole position. It's been a monster lap from Patricia Stalezane, 140.8 over 7/10 up on Philip Dietrich in second, who also couldn't respond. But it's a massive gap, and that was just a little too much on the last lap of qualifying.
She just shows off.
She's trying to show off here, yeah, indeed. I don't know if this is the right way of doing it, though. But yeah, what a monster lap for Patricia Stalezane. No words, actually. I'm lost for words with that gap in qualifying. I've never seen this before.
Yeah, but as we saw, she went into the pits, talked with her engineer, and her mechanic Emil did something, I think, with the rear dampers, and she found a lot of time in that.
Yes, I mean, when I talk to Patricia, she's always like, oh, I lost some time there, I lost some time there. If she's like that with this lap now, then I don't know when she will be happy. 140.8 puts her on the pole position, 7/10 ahead of Philip Dietrich in second. Lucas Stiefenhagen takes his 1 point in the championship. He'll be happy with that in third place. Alex Gustafsson in fourth, Maxim Dacher fifth, Finn Maché in sixth, Siri Höckfeld in seventh, and Philip Bartosz in eighth. Pit Fidanzi ninth, Julian Wörtele in 10th, Lennart Wolf in 11th, Bennett Earl 12th, Theo Vida 13th, Linda Frey 14th. She had plenty of moments in this qualifying session, plenty of stuff for her to look back on. Bente Boer, first weekend back in this car after 2 seasons ago at the Nürburgring. And 16th for Vera Jurland, 18th for Andreas Kapfinger, and Vivian Earl in 18th. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back later on today, 12:15 for race number 1. We'll see you then. Goodbye.
This is prime time, this is victory. We are the chosen ones, we're making history. We'll show you what we got, give everything we have. Every sweat, blood and tear, every last breath. We put up a fight until the last man, until the last day, until our last dance. We are here giving everything and more. To seize the opportunity, you know that we will score.